Hello everyone and welcome back. If you are a teacher who spends hours preparing lesson plans, this video is for you. Today I'm going to show you how to build your own AI lesson plan generator using Google Opal. The best part is that you don't need any programming knowledge or coding experience. Everything is built visual by connecting blocks together. By the end of this tutorial, you will have an AI application that asks a teacher for a few simple details and automatically creates a complete lesson plan. So let's get started. What is Google Opal? Before we begin, we have to know that Google Opal is an AI workflow builder. Instead of writing code, you build applications visually. You simply tell the application what information should the user enter, what should AI generate, and how should the final result be displayed. That's exactly what we are going to build today. Let's try it now. Of course, you have to sign up using your Gmail account. Okay, starting from a scratch. When you open Opal, you will notice three main building blocks. User input, generate, and out. The yellow one, this one, are called user input. These collect information from the user. Think of them as questions. For example, what subject are you teaching? What grade level? What is the lesson topic? 2, which is the blue blocks, are generate blocks. These are the AI brains. They receive information from the yellow blocks and generate new content. For example, learning objectives, lesson activities, assessments. The green block here is the output block. Its only job is to display the final result. It doesn't create content, it simply presents everything in a clean format. So, one important tip before we start, many beginners ask Opal to build an entire application with one prompt. I don't recommend that. Instead, we are going to build the application one step at a time. This makes it easier to understand, easier to improve, and much easier to troubleshoot if something goes wrong. I'm going to go back, click Create. Then I will name the application Lesson Plan Generator. Now we are going to add the information that the teacher will provide. Every time we click User Input, a yellow block is created. Now I'm placing the first block on the left here. The title is Subject. The question, what? The second block is lesson duration. Again, here, I will rename it. The question is, how long is the third block is lesson topic. Question is, what? The fourth block is grade level. what is, what grade, teaching. Notice that all these yellow blocks are grouped together. That's because they are collecting information. We are not asking AI to think yet. We are only gathering information. Now we need our first AI block. I will create here, generate. This creates a blue block. I will rename it, generate learning. When I click the blue block, the panel on the right changes. This is where we write the AI instructions. Think of this as talking directly to the AI. Here, we explain exactly what we wanted to do. Okay? Here, I want to insert my prompt. I already prepared it before. Just not waste our time. We'll copy it here and Control V. Great. So the more specific the instructions are, the better the output will be. You can read it. You are an experienced instructional designer. Generate exactly 3 measurable learning objectives based on the teacher's input and so on. Okay? Here we go. Notice here, notice that I didn't type the subject manually. Instead, I typed the @ symbol. Opal lets me select information from previous blocks. These are called dynamic references. Every time a teacher uses this app, Opal automatically replaces these references with the teacher's answers. Now we need to connect the workflow. I will drag from the small circle on the right side of the subject to the blue block here. Again, okay. Then I will repeat it for lesson duration, lesson topic, and grade level. The connection tells Opal that this AI block depends on those inputs. Without the connection, the AI will not know where the information comes from. Our next AI block is responsible only for creating the lesson activities. Remember, each AI block should have one responsibility. Lesson activities. Okay, so I will copy my prompt and paste it here in the right section. Notice something important. Each AI block has one responsibility. This block doesn't generate objectives. It doesn't create assessments. Its only job is to create classroom activities. Our next AI block creates the assessment. Again, one responsibility. It receives the objectives and the I will link it together here. And I will as well link this to this one. Okay, and this to this one. Assessment. I will clear here. Deleted. I will bring my prompt. So, should be connected to the learning objectives and the lesson activities. Since assessment measures learning, this block depends on both the objectives and the lesson activities. Now, instead of asking the output block to organize everything, I prefer creating one final AI block. Its job is to combine all the previous work into one professional lesson plan. Here it is. So final lesson plan. Here is the prompt. Final lesson plan. Its job is to combine all the previous work into one professional lesson plan. So, of course, I will link it to this one, to this one. Finally, we add the green output block, which is the render lesson plan. So I have two green blocks. Of course, you can organize it in more way here, which is plan. Remember, green blocks don't think, they only display, okay? So, bring my prompt again. Here. So now the final lesson plan generated by AI will now appear as a clean web page. And I will hit again to all. So we have now the web page. Now that we have finished building our workflow, it's time to test our application. So instead of looking at it as the creator, we are going to experience it as the end user. To do that, click Preview in the right corner. And you can see the workflow disappears, and you are now looking at the application itself. This is exactly what other teachers will see when they use your app. I will click Start to begin. And the first questions appear. What subject are you teaching? I will write, let's say, English. Next, lesson duration, 3 minutes. Lesson topic, let's say, writing level. Okay, so now it's generating. See? Now, Opal is running through every step in our workflow. First, it generates the learning objectives. Then it creates the lesson activities. After that, it builds the assessment. Finally, it combines everything into one professional lesson plan before displaying it on the screen. Let's take a look at the results. Here are our learning objectives. Here are the lesson activities. Here are the success criteria, the exit ticket, and finally, the teacher reflection section. Don't just check whether the app works. Before that, you have to read the content carefully. Are the learning objectives measurable? Are the activities appropriate for the grade level? Does the lesson duration make sense? Does the assessment actually measure the objectives? If you are not satisfied with any part of the output, simply return to the workflow, improve the prompt in the corresponding AI block, and test it again. So building AI applications is an amazing process. Every version can be improved. Let's go to the console section here. Before we finish, let me show you one more useful feature. This feature lets us see exactly what happened behind the scenes. Here I can see the input that was sent to the AI. Here, still working. The prompt that we used and the generated response. This is especially useful if something doesn't work as expected because it helps you identify which step needs improvement. Let's go back to the editor here. You are in the editor page here. You can modify your prompt and add new blocks or improve our application. So think of preview as sitting on your students' or colleagues' seat, while editor is your teacher's desk. Preview lets you experience the app. Editors lets you improve it. So now I have my app. We built our first AI application in Google Opal. Before sharing it with our teachers, I mentioned that you have to preview, then start and make sure everything works as expected. Once you are happy with the results, you are ready to publish your app. Look at the right corner of the screen and you can click publish, but till now I unable to publish it. It's still generating. It takes a long time, and maybe 15 minutes. So Google Opal will prepare your application and make it available to others. Once the app is published, click the share button. You will see different sharing options, private, anyone with the link. So anyone with the link can open and use the application. This is the option I recommend if you are sharing it with teachers, students, or your colleagues. So you can copy the link, done. You can copy the link. Once it's published, send it by email, share it in Google Classroom, or post in Microsoft Teams on your school's learning management system. Maybe share it in WhatsApp groups for teachers. Anyone with access can use your application by simply answering the questions you created. So you have just built your first AI-powered educational application using Google Opal. You have learned the workflow design process. First, collect the user's input, then divide the task into smaller AI blocks. Finally, combine everything into one polished output. Once you understand this pattern, you can build almost any educational application, from rubric generators and assessment creators to feedback assistant and report comment writer. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next tutorial.